Hello, beautiful. Okay, this is part 2 around a conversation about the big split, the split between the 3D and 5D Earth. So, for context, I suggest you find part 1, the other video. I was saying that we have, obviously, because this is the reality that we experience so vividly, we consider this to be the only reality. Many human beings for the longest time have considered this to be the only reality. They've not taken much thought to their dreams, and only those who had access to the spiritual realms were more open to exploring what else is out there. I was talking about the Mayan prediction of an apocalypse for December 21st, 2012. And of course we woke the next day and it was like, okay, bogus, here we are, the earth didn't come to an end. But what did happen was our Schumann resonance began to climb. The Schumann resonance is the frequency of the planet. Why does this matter? It means that we went from a very old computer that only had a limited function to suddenly a very futuristic advanced form of technology where we were able to do so much more with this device as opposed to what we were able to do before. Our reality is physics, it's technology, okay? And I used the analogy in the first video where I was saying that imagine for a moment that, think about our radio station. The radio is in the room, the radio does not move. When we plug it into energy, we're able to hear a frequency. And when we tune it, we pick up on different broadcasts. So those broadcasts are everywhere out there. If you ask someone, where is this radio station? Where is this broadcast coming from? What is the broadcast? They won't be able to tell you because it's not they're experiencing that frequency in their room. They're picking up on that message, that broadcast, that frequency, that sound. But it's not a physical experience. So our world is the same. There are so many people experiencing their own world, their own stories, interacting with other people and their world, and you won't ever know. It is only now that we have access to more people's worlds through social media. So the 3D 5D split comes now at this time as it's not literal, it's symbolic, it's energetic, and it's not a separation. It's not, oh, the good people get to go to 5D and the bad people get to stay in 3D. No. We've always had free will. We've always been able to experience our own worlds as different communities, different faiths, different cultures. And many of those worlds would never meet. Now, the world is coming into more union. We're coming into more union based on the frequency that we choose. It is an act of coming into union and into harmony, but still honoring free will. So the 3D 5D split is not the world separating. It is the world running parallel alongside one another as we've always done, but where all these different worlds come together. I have my own world in this universe. You have your own world in this universe. We experience this Gaia, this Mother Earth, this reality by agreement. But I will never see many of your worlds. I will never experience many of your worlds. This is why we love to share stories, because there are worlds spinning, stories taking place, narratives unfolding that we will never ever have access to. We would never have had access to them. Now we've got access to so much. And still there are worlds that we will not meet because it doesn't serve our life. It just doesn't serve us on this life experience, okay? So the 5D, 3D split is an energetic split. It's like that radio station analogy. So now we've got the radio station. So now we take it up a notch. And this is what Spirit shows me. We've got the radio station in the corner that has a couple of radio stations that you can tune into. And then we have like our algorithms, right? Now we have another device that also gives us access to broadcasts, music, programs. The latest cell phone, for example, the latest device has AI and all of this advanced technology. Now you can get your music, you can get access to people's lives, their worlds on your screen. Still, you're going to perceive their world through your processor, because that's how it's always going to be. I can bring everything, all the stories in the whole universe to you. You're still going to perceive those stories. You're going to interpret those stories, because at their core, they're frequency and vibration. They're atoms, right? And their frequency and vibration, and all of matter is atoms, right? Everything you see when you go to its core, to the foundation of what that is, they're atoms. It's fully formed for our entertainment, because we can form reality through our thoughts, but you're still going to perceive it through your processor. I have no control over how you perceive it and receive it. That's why you can have thousands of people watching a video on TikTok, and some people will get the gist of the message you're wanting to send, and other people will come from left side, right side, and you'll think, how did they get to this? Like, how do they see the world like this? How do they not know that this is reality? They don't have the kind of access to those people's worlds that you have. I don't want to complicate this too much. Okay. But now we don't just have this radio station in the corner where we've only got access to certain broadcasts, certain frequency, and we can only hear music and stories being told. Now we can see people's faces. Now we can get we can see some more evidence and receipts, and we've got access to music, and we've got access to AI, infinite intelligence. So we don't have to necessarily go to a reader like me, because I am a psychic medium and a reader. We can now access higher consciousness or information that we didn't have access to through AI. So you see how now our world is expanding, and we're going to another level. We've got access to things we've never had access to before. So the 3D, 5D split is a little bit like that. Some people are afraid of progress, right? And I'm not saying that as a judgment. Some people really see us growing too quickly as detrimental to humanity. And there is evidence of that in the past. When you give people access to technology and they do not have wisdom, then they create atomic bombs. I'm saying wisdom, and I'm pointing here just because your processor being more advanced is able to process information through a higher frequency, but the wisdom comes from here. This processes it, but the wisdom comes from the part of you that is soul, that is everywhere. Wisdom is something that is a lot deeper than just your thoughts, what your mind is able to perceive. And as your wisdom grows and your frequency, your personal level of consciousness advances, your processor is upgraded, because it needs to be able to process the information. Just like the device that processes all this information that we have access to. So if you sit down and you think of that, that is sort of like the split, the 3D, 5D split. The radio station is in the corner here, and you are here. You are in the same room for me. But I am experiencing a vaster world through this. Now, you might say it's still conditions. Yes, I'm experiencing conditions. But to me, I am experiencing more of the story. I'm experiencing more of the bigger picture. Another way of explaining the split is 3D reality is conditional. So when I receive that message through the radio station, I'm going to form a picture in my mind that only is based on what I already know. I can't imagine more than that. But when I see the story in full color and I'm getting more of the information and there's more technology, it makes me think, oh, I didn't actually think that that's how it could be. I didn't know that exists. That is, so 3D is conditional, 5D is unconditional. 5D is about the frequency. It's about